Manufacturing sector records 3,567 job losses in first half of 2023. Gold hovers near 6-month low as markets brace for U.S. economic data. Plus, oil prices surge to highest levels in more than a year. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us. At this time is that time we talk business as we bring you up to speed with happenings in the world of business. We'll start by telling you that the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, that is MAN, has revealed that a total of 3,567 jobs were lost in the sector in the first 6 months of 2023. The group stated this in its half-yearly review of the economy, January to June 2023, recently released. The report indicates that at the same period in 2022, 1,709 jobs were lost. This represents an increase of 1,855 in the sector job losses over 1 year. The figure also represents an increase of 805 job losses when compared with the 2,708 jobs that were lost in the preceding half of the report, that is from July to December 2022. MAN attributed the increase in job losses to the unfriendly business environment and a slew of hastily implemented policies such as the Naira redesign that caused the scarcity of notes in the first quarter of the year, amongst other factors. Now, a recent study conducted by Amazon Web Services has revealed that the adoption of cloud computing in Nigeria could generate an additional economic value of 30.2 trillion naira by 2033. Amrot Abdallah, General Manager for the Sub-Saharan Africa, said they assessed the potential of cloud adoption in the Nigerian market for the coming decade spanning from 2023 to 2033. The study commissioned by AWS aimed to quantify the relationship between public cloud computing adoption, national productivity, and economic growth in Nigeria, highlighting the significant potential of cloud adoption for both Nigeria and the broader Sub-Saharan Africa. According to her, this 30.2 trillion naira potential economic yield accounts for approximately 0.36% of Nigeria's cumulative gross domestic product, that is the GDP, and can be achieved simply by accelerating the adoption of cloud technologies. Now, the rapid development and innovation in the field of artificial intelligence is continuously making things easier in the manufacturing and business environment. It is important to note that the impact of AI on the job market is significant, and it is predicted to impact 80 to 90 million people worldwide over the next couple of years. As AI advances and becomes more sophisticated, it is expected to automate many routine and repetitive jobs, leading to job losses in certain industries. However, new job opportunities are also being created, particularly in AI and data science, engineering, and technology areas. Our focus on the program is artificial intelligence and the future of work. And joining me to talk on this subject matter is Aliu Shatta. He is the president of Digital Practitioners of Nigeria. You're welcome to Business Express.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Great. It's been a while.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Good. Before we look at artificial intelligence, as it were, let me pick your thoughts on the recent confirmation of the central bank governor. Any ideas on how to slow down inflation?
For now, I think the new sheriff in town will always want to first understand what has happened. I think he mentioned it. He needs to understand the terrain, what has happened, how it happened, and before he begins to make his own decision and also make policies that can affect the economy. But he said it that he will just look at all of those debts first that the CBN is owing, to see how we can net off some of those debts, then roll the ball from there. But for me, I think essentially the task at hand will be to stabilize the exchange rate first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, stabilizing the exchange rate is one. Another ambitious project that he announced is a generation of 1 trillion naira value of GDP in 8 years. We're talking about artificial intelligence and how it can help markets grow and increase our GDP. Do you see this AI playing a role in this project?
Oh, sure. If you look at after the effects of COVID-19, you can see the impact of artificial intelligence in all ramifications, most especially in our daily lives. Name it health, transportation, but one of the sectors that had the most significant impact is the financial sector. And if you see all of the boom that has happened in that sector, right, you can see that it has created a lot of ecosystem that is boosting a lot of economic activities. And the body language of the current administration also, speaks to the fact that we are moving to a digitally acceptable economy, because most of the policies, most of the ministers that have even come to speak about, what they want to do, the impact they want to, give in the economy, they've actually, identified technology as a key driver. And artificial intelligence is the one doing all of the back end, input to drive efficiency, to drive productivity, and to drive scalability as well in all of the ecosystem of our economy.
Okay, talking about productivity and the need to adopt this new technology in town. Tell us what we need as a country, particularly at this point in time, to get this application, and what does it actually mean in real sense for the productive sector of the economy?
So first, you want to tilt towards the policy of the current administration, because that is exactly what is going to lay the template, for everybody to adopt. And I'm glad that we have someone who is tech savvy, as the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. And that is already snowballing into a lot of things that I feel, will come out positively in all of the sectors that we have. So that is the first step. The next step is there has to be an alignment of some sort within, the all arms of government to understand that this is the trajectory that the government wants to move, and everybody keys into that, policy making mechanism. The Minister of Internal Affairs have also said that they are looking at, harmonizing all of our database, so that we can have an identity that is clean, an identity that is unique, an identity that is one. And I think that is another step to approach it, because once you have a clean data and you have a data set that you can speak to, it is easier for you to make certain decisions that can affect every aspect of the verticals of the economy. And I think and I feel that will be germane in the next 2, 3, 4 years of this administration.
Okay, looking at the person in charge of communications and digital economy, talking about Bosun Tijani, we saw him in India meeting with some tech companies from India. He moved to New York, where the United Nations General Assembly is actually holding. He had some side engagements there, and he's reaching out to a whole lot of these tech savvy international corporations. What would you make of this engagement, and what does it translate for the Nigerian AI space, tech space, and all of that?
I think it will just augur well for us, because the truth is, all of these countries that we've mentioned, most especially India, they've gone, far in terms of using technology to drive their economy, and they've created massive job opportunity in that sector as well. And I think we can replicate that in Nigeria. We're already doing it anyways, but we can expand that ecosystem more. And all of these, partnership that the minister is seeking is to generate a lot of investment into our own economy. And I think, and I feel that as someone who is participating in this space, I can 100% tell you that there's a lot of interest, from outside the country into Nigeria, because we are pretty smart. We are a pretty smart nation. The Nigerian population is largely youthful, and our youth are tech savvy, right? And beyond that, you can see that there is an export of service that is already taking place. A lot of Nigerian tech workers are already earning in foreign currency, in dollars, while working, remotely in Nigeria. And that is part of what artificial intelligence does. So you don't necessarily need to be physically present in an office environment, to get your job working. And if you see also the transition from physical meeting to, of course, online meeting, from the Google Meet you have, from Zoom meetings, from Microsoft Team meetings and all of that. That has simplified, all of those headaches that you want to probably pay for some flights to travel to X country or X state to have a meeting. So at the comfort of your home, you can actually do a lot sitting down, and there is going to be effect, because they've built tools that can assess you, tools that can, identify that you are actually working, tools that can also say that you are productive within the ecosystem. And there are also tools that are managing the HR space, right? Because that is where the artificial intelligence has been even more impactful. Well, about 46% of all of the sectors put together, only the administration and the HR sector is actually, taking a whole lot chunk of 46% in terms of artificial intelligence contribution. And that says a lot, because you talk about paper handling, filings, and all of that. Artificial intelligence will make everything automated, and you already know when someone is going to resume. It is there. We have all of those software platforms that has been built, to help drive the process for us, to help simplify the process of administration and administering, good HR functionality. And that also transcends into the entire department of every organization that you see. That has a ripple effect over time. If Nigeria can imbibe that, right, within the civil service rules, within the civil service commission, that will go a long way, to talk about the ghost workers, that we've been talking about. It will fish out all of those irregularities.
Let me hold your thoughts. You've mentioned a lot of the advantages for the AI, but there are also fears of the jobs that are going to be lost. Talking about 80 to 90 million jobs. You also mentioned that AI, the technology we have today, has reduced traveling from point A to point Z. But you also understand that if you don't travel from point A to point Z, that transporter is not making earnings. That secretary is not going to be working. So how do we balance all of this on the flip side?
Okay, so I will just say something that has a ripple effect or a multiplier effect. Just the way we are scared that artificial intelligence is going to cut jobs, it is also stated that it will create even far more jobs. And I will give you an example.
Great.
For today, before the advent of hail riders in Nigeria, now you have a lot of graduates that are, doing the business of boats, taxify, and all of that. It has created massive job in that space. And not just that, there are also other, residual jobs that it has created. There are a lot of auto mechanics that now have more jobs to do as well as a result of that increase in the ecosystem. The spare part dealer would definitely go and buy his goods physically, right? Even though sometimes they just call and they already have the items they want to purchase, but sometimes they'll still need to travel, right? So there are also those who have made money, in Nigeria, for instance, working remotely, who want to go for tourism visit. So, because of that effect, there's going to be a multiplier effect where another aspect of the economy will open up. And you will see that those people in the transport industry will definitely have much more passengers as well to deal with, because there is more float, more money in the ecosystem flowing. So it trickles down over the time. The job that we have today, in 1940, you don't have this kind of jobs available today. But because of technology, today you have a lot of tech workers. Everybody wants to code. Everybody wants to write a program, right? Why? because there are different opportunities in the different industries that you need to. So I give an example. In the health sector today, assuming you're using a particular hospital, you have your medical records there. Because there's no artificial intelligence software, to centralize all of those data. If you move from this hospital today to the second, or to hospital B, your data is lost. They don't know your medical history. They don't know what drugs you are allergic to and all of that. But with artificial intelligence, there will be a central point where with a unified code or unified number, identified number for your medical records, anywhere they go to, if all of the hospitals are already subscribing to that platform, just at the click of a button, all of those data can appear.
Okay, Shatta, how far is AI gonna go? I'm asking this because, yes, you just mentioned a variety of workspaces that AI can be used to improve productivity. We have even in the entertainment industry where you have AI being used to sing songs. They're talking about, we had a protest about a few months ago in the United States of America talking about Hollywood, where script writers are saying AI is taking their jobs. AI, we are having beautiful scripts from artificial intelligence. How far is AI going?
So when those scripts come on board, which is more or less like chatbot, right? They prompt you, to either write an automated emails for you, messages, correcting, your sentences and all of that. And of course, the script you just mentioned. If those scripts are written, you still need somebody to transform those scripts into reality. And that's where the human interference comes to play, right? People will still need to sing that song out, when they've composed those beautiful, love songs, right? You need somebody to still sing it out. So, and if you agree with me, this is a research that has been done over years. There has never been any contact that has replaced the human contact. That has been one of the most effective contact, right? Because physically, there's a lot more that is achieved beyond you just speaking and communicating. There is body language. There's a whole lot of things you pick out from. And I'm pretty sure both of us also come from that background, development communication, that talks a lot about, the human, contact and interference, with human communicating. Yes, in as much as you have artificial intelligence prompting, there's also limitation. Don't forget that it's also human being that created that artificial intelligence in the midst of writing codes and all of that. So the way human might probably react. So I give you an example. Let's say you set up this room to accept 8 people to come in, and you've set your artificial intelligence mechanism to prompt it. By the time the 8th person enters, the 9th person will not be able to enter, even though you can accommodate more. But a human being can interact to know that, yes, we actually need additional 1 or 2 more people to come in to fill in the space to contribute. So it is a symbiotic relationship. In as much as man exists, man will still continue to drive a lot. But yes, artificial intelligence is going to reduce, a lot of stress for us. Trust me. All of this file handling, all of the things that we do. Today, you can just sit. How do you think it happens? You order for a ride. The ride comes, the rider knows your location, drives to your location, picks you, takes you to your next destination. It's artificial intelligence that's
now you're talking talking about the soft life. How then should workers prepare for this future, or should we call it the present already?
Yeah, it's already present with us. You will agree with me that prior to now, a lot of our old folks don't really go on social media. But today, most of them know that this is a new normal. So everybody is on social media because they want to belong, they want to interact. So the world has become a global village, right, where everybody needs to interact differently and separately. But at the same time, what I feel is going to be happening more differently is that with the more involvement with every other nations in participation with technology-driven ecosystem, there's going to be a lot of localizing, the content of what we do, most especially in the different countries, in the different continents. So today, you can see where you have a unified currency that is now almost being digitally driven. And that can also increase trade, right? I've been in sessions of World Trade Organization, and they've consistently, and thank God we have one of us as the DG, of that that head, right, that organization, Madam Ngozi Okojuala, she's done tremendously well in terms of preaching how technology, artificial intelligence can drive international trade. And I can guarantee you that with the unification of platforms, with the unification of currencies and being digitized, it makes transaction happen seamlessly from one country to another. And that facilitates a lot of trade activities, thereby increasing the GDP of that country, and at the same time, is encouraging, a lot of employment generating activities, which, if I want to narrow it down again with what is happening in Nigeria today, we are more of a consuming nation than like a producing nation.
We're actually moving from there. Thank you very much, Aliu Shatta, President, Digital Financial Professionals of Nigeria. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time. It is a conversation that is continuous, and I'll tell you soon we're going to have you back here again.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure always.
Thank you. Moving on, oil prices rose in early Asian trade on Thursday after surging to the highest settlement in 2023 in the previous session, as a steep drop in U.S. crude stocks added to worries of tight global supplies. Brent crude futures climbed 16 cents to $96.71, and the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 20 cents to $93.88. U.S. crude stocks fell by 2.2 million barrels last week to 416, while exceeding the 3,200 barrel drop analysts expected. That is Reuters report. And crude stockpiles at Cushing, Oklahoma storage hub delivery point for U.S. crude futures also fell by 943,000 barrels in the week to just under 22 million barrels. That's the lowest since July 2022. Now, gold steadied on Thursday, although prices hovered near a 6-month low hit in the previous session due to an elevated dollar on treasury yields, with markets awaiting U.S. economic data for clues on the Federal Reserve's interest rate trajectory. Let's see how the commodities market is looking this morning. Now, there's no doubt that Nigerian farmers are waxing stronger in meeting the food needs of the country. What needs to be addressed are, therefore, bottlenecks in the line of delivery of hibiscus flour for export. Abdullahi Mohammed was at one of Nigeria's popular produce markets where traders outlined the challenges. The report.
Ceaseless showers our way. But getting closer to Gujungu in Jigawa State, the atmosphere took a turn. Booming could be the word to describe the mood in Gujungu market, but this word failed in explaining my imagination of the magnitude of exchange of goods for cash I saw. Those who cultivate the variety of produce here display their bravery off their farms. Gujungu market is located in Taura local government area here in Jigawa State. You might look at it as a local market, but it is actually an international market because Niger border is not far away from here, and people from Niger Republic bring their products here to sell on a market day like this one. I've seen a lot of things on sale here, animals, grains, and so on and so forth. But one major product that is at highest of it, the point of its sales, is hibiscus. You can see it being loaded into trucks like this one, and it's headed towards towns like Kano, and from there people say it goes even beyond the borders of this country. Stealing my attention was the loads and loads of hibiscus flower being ferried out of the market in trucks. It has been opined that Nigeria could fetch for itself about $100 million each year from exporting these much sought after produce. But attitude in the line of cultivating and processing these produce could damage the prospect.
There are some unscrupulous traders and farmers who mix the produce with wheat and add color for it to look like the hibiscus flower. That means they are sowing the seed of mistrust in the business. But if the flower is filtered well, then our business partners will trust us. We take time to remove all dirt and seal it properly before selling.
When setting out of the market, farms by the roads blooms with the cherished produce. This sending signals of a sparkling light end of the tunnel. In Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Now, European markets set to reverse a negative momentum. Neka Oku is standing by to give us more. Neka, what's happening on early trade this morning?
Hello and welcome to the global market segment this morning. Asia Pacific markets fell Thursday after notching some gains the previous day. Japan's Nikkei 225 slipped 1.54%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also depreciated by 1.22%, while the Shanghai Composite rose 0.2%. European markets opened choppy, reversing negative momentum seen for much of the week. Germany's DAX opened 0.04% higher. The French CAC also depreciated 0.08%, while the French CAC is up 0.11%. In the U.S., stock futures were near flat early Thursday morning as investors braced for the final trading days of what's shaping up to be a weak month and quarter. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average added just 8 points. S&P 500 gained 0.2%, and the Nasdaq Composite is down 0.07%. African markets also opened in negative territory this Thursday. So far, South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 is down 0.11% at 66,300.88, and Namibia's overall index is 0.03% lower. And that's Global Market Review this morning. I am Neka Oko.
Thank you, Neka. And that ends the edition for today. Business Express returns tomorrow at 3 p.m. Keep a date with us.